So besides floats to take things out of their natural orders of things, you can use this CSS positioning attribute. And there are a couple of different types of positionings which we're going to go over through the various videos here. And the first one I want to start with is called relative positioning. And this is a positioning that allows you to take something out of its natural flow, right? So if I'm looking at this, this is the natural flow. I have three divs and they just naturally flow right on top of each other. And with relative positioning, they're still going to flow right on top of each other, but I could move them a little to the left or to the right. I could do that to divs, or I could do it to images. You could do it to whatever you want. So you are going to be working from the HTML 1A relative start, and then we're going to go to 2A relative class start. All right, so first thing we're going to do is pick our div. I'm going to pick the second div here, and I'm going to give it the attribute position relative. Put in your semicolon. All right, that just by itself doesn't do anything, but that's the first step. And now I'm going to say, do I want to move it to the left or to the right? And here's the part that's a little bit odd. If I want to move this over to the right, I'm actually going to use the left attribute. I'll explain that in a second. So let's say I want to move it over to the right. So I'm going to say left, let's put it 150 px. And you see how it moves it over to the right? Because the way that this code is being read is that its normal position would have been 150 pixels to the left of where it is now. So this positioning is not saying move it 150 pixels to the left. It's referencing its original position. All right, and if that's confusing, just remember, put it in the opposite direction that you want to move it. So this one here, number 3, let's do the same thing, but we'll go in the opposite direction. So again, we're going to put our positioning attribute first, position, relative, and then we'll put it to the right, 150 px, and that should move it actually to the left. And there it goes. It even jumps outside of our div. Okay, so take a moment and you could try position up or down as well, top or bottom. And then when you're ready, we'll move over to the second one. So in this example over here, I'm going to use classes to write my positioning element. It's just going to hang out there, and then I'm going to apply it to just some of my images. So you should be working from 2A relative class. I covered classes in one of the last videos, and as I said before, I tend to put my classes down at the bottom of all of my CSS. So you can call it whatever you want to. I'm going to call it move right, open curly bracket. Just to note, if you do want to give it 2 words, then no spaces in between and just capitalize the second one. And let's give it position, relative, put in your semicolon, and I wanted to move right, so I actually give it the position of left, and I'll put in 50 px. And then I'll click on the image and that I want to apply it to, go down to my classes and apply move right. And I can alternate and just apply it to every other one. So not all of my images need to have this. So again, I'm moving it 50 pixels to the right, but that's not the way that the web reads it. It says what was its original position, which was 50 pixels to the left. So again, you can just think about it as going in the opposite direction. You write the code so that it goes in the opposite direction that you want it to go. So if I want it to go to the right, I write left. If I want it to go to the left, I write right. And then the pixel number stays the same. So when you have finished with these two, then show me what you have. And if you want, you can change it up, try adding some top and bottom, or make another class as well. And then if I wanted to do something like, you know, give these padding, I certainly could do that. These guys could also have padding. it's a class, so I could just add all the attributes I want. So for example, I'll give them padding of 10x, and then I'll give them a background color of black. And so now just the ones with this class attribute that has relative positioning left 50 has those attributes. Okay, so just take a minute and use this not only to play with relative position, but also a little bit with classes.